Omega introduced countless amount of vintage Seamaster model with the calendar feature. Many of the most attractive and finest example are those from the 1950s and the 1960s. So I've selected the 12 most common Seamaster Automatic references with the date feature from these era to present in this video. Hi guys, and welcome to a new episode with me, the Omega Enthusiast. Our time is precious, so let's get started without further ado. In 1952, Omega introduced their first Seamaster calendar watch under case reference 2627. Many were powered by an automatic bumper 353 with a pointer regulator movement, and only a handful came with a caliber 355 with the swan neck regulator. The case dimension measures 35.3 millimeters excluding the correct original dome crown by 43 millimeters from lug to lug. Do keep in mind that all 12 references mentioned in this video came in steel, two-tone, and solid gold. The crystals are made of acrylic, and most of the references exist with many different dials variation. Omega introduced the second generation Seamaster calendar watch in 1954 under the case reference 2757, also known as the first beefy lugs Seamaster with the date feature. Unlike the previous piece, this model is less common to come across and hard to find one with a clean factory finish dial. It takes a caliber 355 bumper automatic movement and is the last Seamaster calendar to run by this type of movement. The case measures 34.5 millimeters across, excluding the correct original clover crown, by 42 millimeters from lug to lug. After discontinuing the bumper automatic in 1955 and introducing the 500 series caliber, Omega presented a new line of Seamaster calendar in the same year under case reference 2849. They are the first calendar model to come with a 3 o'clock date. This line of Seamaster lasted until the early 1960s, but the majority you will find in today's market usually date between 1956 to 1959. They are powered by a caliber 503 automatic movement. The cases measures around 34.5 millimeters excluding the clover crown by 42 millimeters from lug to lug. In 1959, several months after Omega introduced the 560 series calibers, they welcomed 3 other magnificent Seamaster calendar references to the family. This first one is under reference 14701, with a case measurement of 33.6 millimeters excluding the crown by 42 millimeters from lug to lug. You will notice that all 3 of these references will come with the same type of crown. Model 14701 takes a caliber 562 automatic movement that carries 24 jewels. This next piece is under reference 14760, which also takes a caliber 562 automatic movement with 24 jewels. If you come across the gold cap version of this model, there's something different about the case. The steel version has a removable bezel, however, the gold cap version has a fixed bezel that is part of the rest of the case. The case dimension of this model measures 34 millimeters, excluding the crown by 41.6 millimeters from lug to lug. The third piece is known as a pre-Seamaster DeVille. If you're interested to learn the differences between a pre-Seamaster DeVille and a regular Seamaster watch, click on the link above. This reference is 14770, and for the international market, it came with a caliber 562 with 24 jewels. For the US market, it came with a caliber 560 with 17 jewels. The case measures 34 millimeters, excluding the crown by 40 millimeters from lug to lug. The following 3 pieces are very similar watches, but once you understand their differences, you have no issue differentiating them. The first piece is under reference 166.001, which is the thinnest of the 3 and has smaller lugs. It took a caliber 562 with 24 jewels, and in late 1966, a caliber 565 with 24 jewels and quick-set date feature replaced the caliber 562. Due to its thinner case, make sure the crystal tension ring has a step when you replace it. The case measures 34.5 millimeters excluding the crown by 39 millimeters from lug to lug. This next piece is under reference 166.002, possibly the most common Seamaster calendar from the 1960s, and it is commonly mistaken for a Seamaster DeVille. Just keep in mind the difference is that this reference has a screw-in case back, whereas a Seamaster DeVille has a monoshell case. Another critical thing to note is that this reference no longer says Seamaster on the dial after 1967. So in 1967, you will find many transitional dial with double print showing Seamaster Geneve. In 1968, Seamaster was removed from the dial and will only say Geneve. 166.002 with the Seamaster dial became reference 166.037 in 1968. Lots to learn, right? Reference 166.002 initially takes a caliber 560 with 17 jewels for the US market and 562 with 24 jewels for the international market. Later in 1966, caliber 563 with quickset date feature replaced it 560 for the US market, and 565 with a quickset date replaced it 562 for the international market. Even though this is possibly the most common Seamaster calendar, certain dial variation can make one a holy grail. The case measures 34.5 millimeters, excluding the crown, by 41 millimeters from lug to lug. The third piece is under reference 166.003 and is not the successor of the previous two pieces. 166.003 was also introduced in 1962, along with the previous two references. Initially, it came with a caliber 562 with 24 jewels, and later in 1966, it was replaced by a caliber 565 with 24 jewels with a quickset date feature. The case measures 34.5 millimeters, excluding the crown, by 41 millimeters from lug to lug. For some odd reason, the bezel is commonly known to crack, so always double check the bezel before you purchase this model. Another thing to remember is that the bezel's original finish has a sunburst texture. You will also notice that the original crown is half hidden. The following two pieces are similar models commonly mistaken for one another. They are the only two Seamaster calendar in this video that is available in a chronometer version and double sign case. This first piece is under reference 166.010, introduced in 1962, where it came with a caliber 562 movement. In later 1966, caliber 565 with a quickset date feature replaced 562, and the chronometer version will carry a caliber 564. When it is the chronometer version, the second reference number in the case is what it refers to. In this case, it is 168.024. And since Omega introduced the chronometer version in 1966, the earlier cases were not double signed. Two crown styles came with this model. According to my research, the initial crown design later got replaced with a simpler looking crown in 1966, like the one you see on this watch. The case measures 35 millimeters, excluding the crown, by 43 millimeters from lug to lug. Many collectors also mistakenly describe this model as a beefy lug, but it is not true. And this is what a beefy lug model looks like. This next piece is under reference 168.022, or the non-chronometer version under 166.028, first introduced in 1967. I won't discuss this piece too much since I recently uploaded a video on this particular watch, which you can watch and learn from the link above. Aside from being a more prominent piece than the previous one, it has a sunburst finish bezel and brush finish lugs when you compare them side by side. Because many of these references are commonly polished, it does look similar to a 166.010 model. This last piece is under reference 166.067, first introduced in 1967 and lasted until 1972. It has a distinctive look and is commonly mistaken for missing a bezel. But this is what the case genuinely looks like for this reference. The case measures around 36 millimeters, excluding the crown, by 41 millimeters from lug to lug. It takes a caliber 565 with 24 jewels and has a quickset date feature. We have come to the end of this video. Have you decided which piece is most suitable for you? If you know a friend who is having difficulty picking the perfect Seamaster with a date feature, maybe share this video with him, which should help him with his decision. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch my video, and I look forward to seeing you in the following episode.